firm. So we're doing another yarn video. I am excited for this one because I'm doing another throw pillow, but this time I'm designing it myself. Yes, I know. So I have this throw pillow, like lumbar pillow situation that we've had for a long time, and to be honest, we've never got a proper pillowcase for it. And so I thought that was the perfect opportunity for me to try and knit something for it. So I took some inspiration from a mural that I recently painted right here, and I really love the sky element of this piece, and so I was using the concept of like duality because the pillow has two ends. I wanted the image to like all connect, and the concept like of sun and moon came to play, and that's when I thought about the sky. So I came up with this sketch and like kind of like brainstorm that I did for the pillow design, and I drew it out in full color, and I want to try and translate this to a pillow. And I have it broken down into three parts: the like center piece here, which is essentially like a really long rectangle, and then the two circles. And I think that this can be really cute. I'm excited for the challenge. I have no idea if I'll be able to execute this, so we're going on this journey together. I've already dug through my scrap yarn, and I've pulled out the colors that match closest to my illustration, and I'm gonna try and stick with that because I really don't want to have to go buy any yarn. So yeah, that's always a plus. I am not one to keep a big yarn stash, so I try my best to just like use what I got and keep some money in my pocket, okay? So I'm gonna show you my colors. So this is what I have. Everything is worsted weight yarn, and for the sun side, I haven't decided on if I like which yellow I want to use for the sun. This is going to be for not only the background, but also used in the body, like sunset portion. And I've already done a swatch, like a really weird half-assed swatch, and it's a half circle. I wanted to test out my circle technique. I'm essentially making this up because I couldn't find a tutorial for real, and this, I didn't like block it or anything, but I did just hold it up to the pillow, and it's the exact same size as the pillow. So I'm gonna size down on my needles because I want it to be smaller. But for this type of pillow, you want to have the pillowcase be 1 inch smaller than the pillow, whereas the other pillow that I did, which had like more of a like feathery down filling, that one, the case was 2 inches smaller than the pillow. This is memory foam, so it doesn't have as much give as the other pillow does, so it doesn't need as much give in the fabric. I learned this by reading it on the internet, y'all. I really didn't even realize it was a thing. But yeah, I played around with some textures as well. I'm trying to figure out like if I just want to do all stockinette stitch for the entire thing, or if I want to switch up the stitch and make the sun and the moon and the clouds pearl stitches. just so they like lift up off the fabric. I think that could be really cool. I really love texture, so I don't know. I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for it, and if I hate it, I'll just take it out and switch it to something else. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. Excuse the hat, by the way. I've been sitting outside and I am about to go back outside to work on this, but I'm excited because I have done original knits before, but it's all been garments. The few that I have, they're all like things that I wear. This is going to be my first like home accessory original design, and the first time that I'm going to capture it in this way. So yeah. Okay, let's get started. Happy Sunday, by the way. Happy Sunday. I think today is Easter Sunday today. If you celebrate that, happy Easter. Alright, so it's a little later because I stopped to edit a video and now I'm ready to start my project. I'm going to start with the sun circle. Jason redid my sun and made it look way better, and yeah, so I'm excited to get all of this done. I'm using the website Stitch Fiddle. I said that, but it's really easy to use. It's free. You should play around with it if you haven't before. But yeah, let's get started. I got my little project bag here. We're gonna start with the orange yarn. Last night, I attempted to do the circle that has the sun in it and failed because look at how weirdly wonky and oblong this is. It's too big and yeah, it just did not come out right. The sun looks cool, but the shape is way off. And so there's a lot of things I did wrong with this. The first is I doubled up the amount of rows by accident because I read the chart. Well, I didn't have my chart in Stitch Fiddle set to knitting flat. I had it set to knitting in the round. So the way the chart was numbered was just, I don't know, it was weird. And so I thought I could correct it in my head by like stitching only one row down and back, but that ended up, I think that ended up making it oval shaped. And so I made sure that I changed the flow of the chart to flat with the right side facing. And I also ended up using this to re-measure my gauge because I technically used a gauge that was like on one of the yarns thingy, like little label. I didn't actually knit a swatch, and that's because I'm using a bunch of scrap yarn from a bunch of different brands, so I just figured I'd guess. But I think my guess was wrong because again, this is not right. So I used this as a swatch so that I can measure and get the correct gauge. So then I had to create all new files in Stitch Fiddle, put in all of this new math, and change the shape and the calculation so it looks right. So today I have done a different one. I did the moon and it looks awesome. All of the math came out right and it's perfectly circular. Look at that. Wow. So I think what I learned is to just knit the swatch because I probably could have saved myself some time, but it's okay because like I learned things. I learned a lot of things. And so now I'm going to redo the sun with the new measurements. And yeah. Should I just frog this? No, I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep this one just because it was a learning opportunity. Okay. And it's good to have it as a comparison. Nice little humbling moment. Again, this is all scrap yarn, so I'm not like really trying to be precious with it at all. So I have plenty more to use. So I'm gonna work on that. And it really doesn't even take that long. I'm so proud of this. I have blocked this, by the way. I did a light steam on it so that I could lay it flat and measure it and make sure that it's like all even around. I am just not the whole family getting up from behind me ruining my shot, but okay, let's keep going. It is the next weekend. It has been a busy work week. Not as busy as normal, but still busy, and I hadn't felt like working on this project during the week, and I was saving all of my energy for this weekend. So it's Friday now, just clocked out. I really want to take a nap, but I'm going to power through and get some of this sunset pillow done. This is where I left off last Sunday night. Working on the body. I was able to do both end caps and start the body, which is like the darkest part of the sky, and I started to go into the lighter blue, and I have the bottom part of a large cloud there. I really love these colors together. It is very satisfying. I think the tension feels good. There's a lot of chaos happening in the back with all of the color switching going on, but I think I'm handling it pretty well. Nothing is too tight or bundled up at all, and I'm really proud of myself for that. I learned a lot knitting all of those mittens this winter. Those colorwork mittens taught me a lot about just your tension that you want to have when you're floating colors. And so, yep, I am about 20 rows in, and I believe it's something like maybe 150 rows or something like that. So it's a good bit. But I'm excited to see it work together because it's gonna look so good. Like, I'm obsessed. And I've already held it up to the pillow, and I think it's gonna fit all right. I am a little bit concerned that it may be too big, so I'm not going to block it. I already know I'm not gonna block this heavily because I really don't want to stretch this out any wider than it already is. But yeah. It's an easy adjustment, you know. Yeah, so I'm going to work on this a bit. I'm gonna go sit outside and work on it, but I thought I'd chat with you guys inside because it's very windy outside. Okay, like very windy, and so you don't want to hear all of that. I've already struggled with that enough, but it's beautiful and it feels great outside. It's in the 70s. We love that for us. Yay, spring.
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race. Every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way. Had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way. Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want in this place, see. Cause everybody wanna tell you bad things, what could go wrong, what fame brings. But success is a finicky thing, and if you ain't sure, no, it'll never be. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down. I don't wanna let myself down, myself down.
It's been a couple weeks and I want to do a little check-in on where I'm at with this pillow knit because I have thoughts, okay? So I just gave it a light blocking so that I can see what we're dealing with. And now that it's laying a little more flat, it's not horrible. Look at the cloud and the sky is kind of changing from dark to light and then into the sunset colors. I have just hit row 50 and just disclaimer, I have not been really working on this in the last 2 weeks. It's been really busy with work, and this is also the type of knit where you really have to use your brain. You really have to be paying attention, like more than anything. And I have just not been in the mindset to do that type of project, to be honest. Like, and maybe you know, maybe you can relate, but like there are some knit projects that are like really soothing for the brain and just is kind of like meditative and you can zone out. And then there are other knit projects that are like a little more stressful and require a lot more attention, and like it's not necessarily calming, it's like a little bit chaotic. That's this. And so this is what the back looks like. The first maybe 12 or so rows, I was not trapping my yarn and it was getting a little bit out of hand. Like, look at how long this float is. So, and I told myself I wasn't going to care about the floats. I was like, this isn't a wearable garment. It's just going to go on the inside of, like, this will just be inside of the pillow. Like, who cares, blah, blah, blah. After about 10 to 12 rows, I realized I care because it actually made knitting a lot more messy, and things were getting tangled up because of all of the long floats. So after that, I started to actually trap my floats, and so you can see that like all the yarn in this section and up is trapped. Like there's nothing super long dangling around like it is at the bottom. Like you see these floats at the bottom, it's looking crazy, but these are much better. And so I noticed that my tension also at the bottom where I was not trapping the floats, the tension got a little weird. And so there are some like permanently puckered spots. And yeah, you know, that's just something I learned. You know, you learn as you go, and I thought I can get away with it, but I couldn't. So I'm happy I adjusted when I did, because that little bottom section is so small in the grand scheme of things. Like I still have 100 more rows to go. I've only done 50 rows and so there's still a lot more to knit. What else have I learned in these? Oh, that there's no way to do this without getting the yarn tangled up like crazy. There just isn't. I find myself every 5 or 6 rows just stopping and just retangling untangling all of the balls of yarn and starting from scratch like that. So it is slow moving. Like, it's not difficult per se, it's just very particular and slow moving. And so I'm gonna work on this more tonight. I'm actually headed out of town for a week tomorrow, and I don't think I'm going to take this with me. I'm gonna think about it. I don't think I'm gonna take this with me. It's just too complicated of a project to do on the road. I was thinking about possibly starting a new project while I'm out on this trip, but I'm not going to open that can of worms. And as much as I'm like already feeling anxious because I almost always travel with a knit project, like in the last couple of years, like that's just been my jam. Like, even if it's an easy scarf, like I just always bring some type of knit project because it helps me keep my hands busy and the time go by faster during travel days. So the thought of not having it with me on this trip is like already giving me, it's like making me sweaty. But I'll be fine. I'm bringing lots of tech because I actually have so many like tech housekeeping things that I have been avoiding, and so I'm gonna try and use these travel days I have coming up to get some tech housekeeping done. But yeah, looking pretty cute, loving it so far. And I will say that like I probably could have made the blend or the ombre going from color to color like more smooth. But here's the thing, this is already complicated enough. And so even when I was designing this pattern, like I was trying to make it so that the colors bled into each other without, like with the mindset of me also having to swap these colors constantly as I go. Like I just have to be realistic with it. And so I'm very happy with it so far. I said all that just to say I'm very happy with it so far. I'm gonna keep working on it tonight, and then I will see it again next week when I get back. Oh, this was the last thing I wanted to chat about, an observation from doing this, is that when you work a full-time job and have a engaged life and all of that, it's so hard to do these types of things on a regular basis. And I want so badly to be able to say that, you know, I spend a couple hours every single day on my knit projects, but it's just not realistic. And so if you are also someone who feels like you don't dedicate enough time to your hobbies and you're looking at the next person and like how much stuff that they create like within their hobby or whatever, like it's fine. Like, let's not compare ourselves to other people. This is a more realistic version of what it's like to be a knitter and a maker as a hobbyist. That's just how, that's the realist, that's blah, 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 blah. That is the reality of it. It's, you're not banging out projects weekly when it's just a hobby. That's just not realistic. So yeah, I'm gonna go work on this some more. Happy Sunday, lovely people. Someday? Happy Sunday, lovely people. All right, let's talk about this pillow design. Oh my gosh. I just woke up from a nap. And after I woke up from my nap, I blocked my work and kind of dry fitted it. Let me show you what we're working with. It's not perfect. Okay, I swear it reads so much better on camera. It's not perfect. I think it looks like a sky. I think. Okay. I think it looks like a sky. Just to refresh your memory, this is what the little end caps will look like. Sun and a moon, okay? Here is my pillow. So I already did a little bit of a dry fit with the fabric. And there's so much overlap. So I want to do an overlap closure like how I did for my last pillow, but with a modification. And we'll talk about that later down the line. But this overlap is a lot. And it's funny because when I was working on it yesterday and I held it up, I was like, this just looks so long for the pillow that I'm making. Let me dry fit it at the stage that I was at and see where we were at. And when I had dry fitted it yesterday, the two pieces were like just touching like this. And so I had to remove some rows from my pattern in order to make my work shorter so that the overlap wouldn't be like ridiculously crazy. It's a good 5-inch overlap. My aim was more like 3. So it definitely has more overlap than I want it to. And the bummer is that like another thing I wish I would have did different was this dark blue part. I wish I would have made it bigger. Like I wish there was more dark blue in the pillow because the other side of it is covered. So pillow is finished. I was so nervous to stitch this pillow together. I don't know why I made such a big deal out of it and made it this big thing in my head, because I was scared that all of my hard work was not going to pay out and my idea to put it all together was not going to work out. But I'm done. I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to show you. Again, here's my bare pillow. This is my pillowcase turned inside out. Okay, look at all of these ends. This looks crazy. I am not weaving in all of these ends, okay? Unless it becomes an issue somehow. I weaved in the ones that matter, that like start and stop rows for my stitches, that like when I stitched it together, those I weaved in. But the color changing ones I didn't weave in because I like kind of weave them in as I go. So I don't need to weave them in anymore, and I don't feel like cleaning all of this up. So here we are. I was really nervous about taking the, so I stitched this around the pillow, like with the pillow on. And then I was so nervous to take the pillow out because I didn't want to stretch it out, but I think it did pretty well. I gave it a very, very light blocking. But look at that. Okay, let's put the pillowcase. Let's put the pillow in. This is the opening. Okay, I stitched everything closed and the first 3.5 inches on each side closed. So the opening is quite small so that the pillow doesn't do a bunch of moving around, because that's something I noticed that happened with my other pillowcase. So I'm actually gonna, after I put this pillowcase on, I'm gonna go to my safer at home pillow and I'm going to stitch my overlap closure closed a little bit on each end so that it like stays put a little better. Anyway, let's get this on. I really hope this goes on in a way that makes sense. Okay. Okay, okay. All right, we're in there. All right, ta-da! We got the sun end. We have the moon end. Oh, she a little lopsided. Wait. Okay, that's better. We got the moon end. We got the sun end. We have the sunset sky. It looks awesome. I think it looks really, really cute. My very first custom designed, like for real, I designed this myself. Wait, let me turn it this way. Designed this myself. Pillow. And it actually looks like a sky a little bit. But let me know what you think about this little pillow situation, and I hope I see you guys in my next video, because I do have a project after this. I was itching to hurry up and get this done so I can start my new project. I'm so excited. Okay, goodbye. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.